Hey guys, spring is here finally. Yes, it's not cold, but honestly guys, we've been having a heat wave and pretty record-breaking heat wave here in California. I'm in Northern California. I think Southern California is even having worse heat wave, but it's been pretty hot. And I've already done a video on spring fragrances. I thought I'd put together a deep dive on some budget offerings as well that I find perfect for spring. Some are lighter for more warmer spring days, and some are more intense. They're deeper, so they would be better for cooler. But I always mention I don't have any rules. Wear what you want, when you feel like wearing it, just wear it. Just keep in mind some of the fragrances are going to be more intense than others. So you'll have to learn how to control, maybe overspray the light ones if you're wearing it when it's, cooler versus, less sprays of the deeper ones when it's warmer and things like that. So I've got these fragrances broken down into unisex, men's, and women's. So we've got 22 unisex, 22 men's, and 10 women's fragrances, as I don't have as an extensive of a collection for the ladies, especially when it comes to the cheaper offerings, although I think it's overall, I don't have as many feminine, collection of fragrances. But I do have unisex, and I've got the unisex fragrances here. We're going to start off with the unisex fragrances. But before I do, I want to mention to you guys, I'm going to mention going forward that I just recently announced ScentFest SF, and it's a new consumer-based fragrance trade show happening here in San Francisco, California on June 26, 27, and 28. And it happens right after the World Perfumery Congress, which is happening in Monterey, and around the same time as the Business of Global Beauty Forums in Napa Valley. So those dates are around the dates of ScentFest SF, and I'm gathering a collection of awesome niche and artisanal indie brands here, also with other exhibits within the trade show, some experiential and interactive kind of things all to do with fragrances. So if you're into fragrances and you've never been to any, trade shows, this is a consumer base, so you'll be able to buy fragrances there. And you might even be able to make fragrances when you attend the show, as we're trying to put together some, booths that will do those kind of things. You definitely want to take advantage and come here and, visit ScentFest SF. Again, it's ScentFest SF happening June 26, 27, 28. I have a link in the info box. Please share the video. Watch the original announcement video. Share that. Follow us on Instagram and share that, the posts and the profile there as well. It's going to be a great show. First of its kind on the West Coast. And I'm excited to be doing it and meeting you guys all at the show. So let's get started with the list of fragrances. This is unisex. I do want to say one more thing, but this is in regards to the fragrances. I actually put the prices together all before I shot this video. So I double checked to find these fragrances, and the prices I'm going to say right now are the prices that I saw before I shot the video. So if the prices change, unfortunately, I have no control over that. If there's no more stock, I unfortunately do not have any control over that as well. I apologize, but this is what I found right now. These are some great prices. If you see them still selling, take advantage of them before they run out. Okay, let's get started. First, we're going to talk about Angel Schlesser's Sensual Patchouli. It's a unisex offering, and it's also fairly discounted, 100 ml for $26. It's a woody, earthy fragrance, so it's going to be a bit deeper, but this is not super thick, so it's a great, long-lasting, thin-wearing fragrance. Although patchouli is not thin, some people also think it's too strong, but the way this one wears is long-lasting. It goes on throughout the day, but it doesn't overwhelm, and it's also super sexy. It's kind of a green-leaning patchouli. This is the bottle right here, Sensual Patchouli, and it's unisex targeted. It's earthy, it's woody, it's sparkling, and very, very sexy, I think. If you're looking for a cheap patchouli, inexpensive patchouli that you can wear day in and day out, this is it. It's a unisex offering, and I highly recommend it for $26 for a tester or $34 for full presentation with the box. But why would you need the why would you need the full presentation when you can just get the bottle, right? Because it's so cheap, it's inexpensive, and it smells great. I should also say it kind of reminds me a little bit of fragrances like Vetiver Patchouli from Montal, Orage from Louis Vuitton, Tempo from Diptyque. So it's kind of in that line of greenish leaning patchouli, so not chocolate cakey and things like that. Let's go to the house of Calvin Klein. It's CK1 Essence. Now this has gone down in price so much. It's extremely cheap. It's inexpensive, I should say. I don't like that word cheap, but you know, cheap means inexpensive. You can afford it, kind of, right? But it also makes it sound like it's not quality, but it is. It's a super intense take on the very popular CK1, but it's kind of given the cool, crisp, metallic effect. It comes off a bit screechy, but it has that cooling, you know, metallic steel-like presence, but it reminds you of the original CK1. It's 100 ml for $37. That's a great price for this. If you're looking for a better performing CK1, because it has gotten reformulated, it is much thinner now, I would go for this. But just keep in mind, this is, as I said, a lot more metallic. It's a bit more screechy, and the color of the bottle, this kind of steel-like silver, is how it wears. It's super cold, and I think when it's warm, it'll be perfect. So it has gotten the intensity because it's a parfum concentration, so it's extra and it's longer lasting, and just a more intense version of the original CK1. Unisex offering, very popular, long-lasting, not long-lasting as in the performance of the fragrance, but it's been around for 30 years. I think this CK1 Essence launched 30 years after the original came out in 1995. And yeah, it's been around for 30 years. So CK1 Essence, it's 100 ml for $37. Really great price. Let's move on to the house of Hermès en Jardin en Méditerranée. One of my favorites in the Jardin collection. And I really love it in the spring, whereas Un Jardin sur le Nil is more summer, I think. I love the en Méditerranée for spring. And also because I love the Mediterranean. I was born in the Mediterranean, and I love the coastal Mediterranean, environment with citruses and fig trees and flowers and things like that. And that's kind of what you have here. It's a very citrusy, floral, fruity take on green figs. Smells fantastic. Created by Jean-Claude Helena. And it was a love at first sniff when I first sampled that. And I really love it. And I recently bought this. I featured it in one of my discount fragrances videos. I bought a tester for about $50 something. Right now, the cheapest I can find is $75 for 100 ml. But if you like fig, a floral, fruity kind of fig, I would really take advantage of this one and get it. I think it's also perfect for warmer days because that is an eau de toilette. So it's kind of lighter. So leave it for the warmer days. But when you smell it, when you put your nose to it, it's just a really gorgeously beautiful smell. Really love that fig fragrance. And sometimes I get bored of it, but I've come back to it and really, really enjoying it. So that is Hermès en Jardin en Méditerranée, 100 ml for $75. So there's going to be different sizes here within the collection of fragrances I'm going to talk to you about. So sometimes a fragrance might not be as a good of a deal if it's a 50 ml, but I am highlighting this one because I really love it, and it doesn't really go much lower than this. It's a 50 ml, and that's the only size it comes in. It's from the house of Malin and Goetz. It's strawberry. It's unisex, and thinking that it's strawberry, it doesn't act kind of young girlish. It's like a more mature and not childish strawberry. And it's a bit on the green side, but it does have the fruitiness, and it also has a muskiness, and it smells great in warmer weather, but I think springtime would be appropriate for this one. Really love the way it smells. And on skin, it's super sexy. And you've got that greenness, the fruitiness, and muskiness. Like there's like ambroxan type of muskiness in the base notes. So if you've ever eaten strawberries that have not ripened too much, there is that kind of a unripened green taste to it with the fruity that's trying to, intensify as it gets fruitier. That's kind of what I get with this fragrance. But what I love about it is the muskiness and the dry down. And even though it's an eau de parfum, but I wouldn't say this is super duper intense. So anybody that's into kind of musky fragrances definitely would appreciate this one if you like that kind of fruity green twist as well. Oh, it was like I was at a store in Montreal called Etiquette. Did they close down, by the way? I thought I read somewhere that they were going out of business. Is this true? But anyway, I was there. It was really hot in July of like 23. And I smelled it in that store and I instantly had to have it because in the heat, it really shines. But I am featuring it here in the springtime. It does have a little depth with the muskiness. So that's Malin and Goetz Strawberry, 50 ml for $71. Normally, it's like $115 for that suggested retail price. So it is discounted and it's under $100 because I wanted to make sure this video, the fragrances are all under $100. So let's move on to the House of Guerlain next. It's from the Aqua Allegoria collection. This is Nerolia Vetiver. And this is a 125 ml bottle for $48. So Neroli is the citrus floral note, vetiver, that kind of grassy, woody, earthy note. So it starts off fresh, floral, citrusy, develops into this kind of earthy, woody, grassy note, aromatic in presence. So, whoa, what's going on with my bottle? My sprayer, I should say. I have not noticed that with this bottle before. Strange. Anyway, this is 125 ml for $48. Great price. Once again, we'll leave it for the warmer days, but I think the vetiver in this should give it some depth because it is all citruses up top. Fresh, sweet, soapy, clean, floral, citrusy, as I said, but it develops into that kind of grassy, earthy woodiness, the aromatic characteristic of the vetiver. And the vetiver here, it's Guerlain, so don't think you're going to smell like Guerlain's vetiver for men. It's not that kind of a deep, rooty, earthy, aromatic vetiver. This is more lighter. As I said, it's a bit more grassy and like dry grass is what I'm basically picturing, where it kind of takes on the smell of light woods and things like that. But a great scent, very fresh, clean, soapy, sweet. Nerolia Vetiver, great price. Because that's like probably like $200 for that bottle of suggested retail. Maybe just under 200, but oof, it smells so good. $48 for 125 ml. Totally worth it. Now I'm featuring this fragrance here. This is the Atelier Cologne, which again, uncertainty about this brand and how they're doing. I had reported that I saw them in China. I actually visited a store in Beijing and in the mall, but they haven't really sold fragrances in the States since like 21, I think. But there's fragrances in the discounters, and you can get a bottle of Love Osmanthus in a 200 ml bottle size like this. This is a 200 ml for $62. So Love Osmanthus is a very fresh, fruity floral featuring Osmanthus. And Osmanthus is this flower that's sweet and fruity, has that kind of apricot-y stone fruitiness. It does eventually settle to like leather. I don't think they brought out the leather here. It's more the fresh and fruitiness of the flower. But in the end, it's very fresh here, clean, fruity, and of course floral, because you got that. But there is a light tea-like effect in here as well that I pick up. But there's a very joyful, happy scent about it. The fruitiness, I think, and the floral touches kind of gives me that kind of an effect, giving it a little bit of a joyful, happy, lazy, kind of a laid-back weekend day kind of a fragrance vibe. It's super, I was going to say the word cute, because there's a little bit of a cute smell about it, but not in a childlike way, just the way the fruitiness smells. Innocent is also another one that comes to mind with this one. But a great price on this, 200 ml for $62. That is so worth it, especially since it's really difficult to find those fragrances in the States, and they're mostly at the discounters now. But let's move on to the House of Akro. We've got Infuse and a tester for $67. That's a great, great price for that. And Infuse might come off a bit deeper. Infuse is about tea, It's fruity and also a little bit milky to me, but there's definitely a very, like, I think there's mate in this fragrance. That's what I was trying to think. Mate is kind of green and grassy to me as well, but a bit more like a powdery, grassy characteristic. And you've got that, so it reminds you of tea. It's a bit sweet, it's a bit milky, and very, very cozy. It has some sweetness in it, so maybe perhaps if you're sensitive with your fragrances, perhaps don't wear it when it's really warm because it does come off a bit deep. It's not super fresh like the previous two fragrances, but there's definitely a really kind of smooth coziness about this fragrance that I quite like. I think at first I wasn't the biggest fan of this, but it's grown on me. And mate can be sometimes a bit challenging because there is a very interesting, unique smell about it. It smells like tea, but there's a slight mustiness about it. And you kind of have that here. But right now my nose is picking up the tea. And it smells super, super relaxed and smooth. So that's Infuse by Akro. I think it'll be a great scent for spring wear. It's unisex, super cozy. It's slight gourmand-esque touches as well, as I said. The next one I'm talking about is from the house of Maison Margiela. It's called From the Garden. And there's a tester for this at $77. But I think full presentation will be around $80. But a tester is a better deal. You only get the bottle. And these don't come with caps anyway, so you don't have to worry about the cap on this one. This is a fun fragrance. I love it because of the tomato leaves. Although I think this particular fragrance did have the actual fruit experience as well. Let me double check because there's been an onslaught of tomato leaf fragrances recently. And so this one might have the fruits. Actually, now that I'm smelling it, no. This is more of the green side of the tomato. It's more of the leaves, as I said. But if you've ever grown tomatoes and you've picked them, there's that very distinct smell. It gets on your hands, especially when you're like running your hands against the leaves and the fruit themselves. It's that bitterness, and you have that here. But it's very fresh and green and aromatic, bitter, and great spring experience. I've always mentioned on my videos when I talk about tomato leaves or tomatoes, my dad used to grow them. And one year I came to their house and I saw this whole garden turned into a tomato jungle. Like the tomato plants had grown so tall, you couldn't see. It was a pretty big backyard and garden, and it was just like taken over. And that weekend, we worked so hard in picking the tomatoes, all of them. And we had baskets, and they were the small, really delicious cherry tomato variety tomatoes. And we picked them all weekend long. Then they got chopped down, and you could see the whole garden. I remember that. My dad's not around anymore, but that brings back memories of him and how he loved to plant, especially tomatoes. Tomatoes, peppers, and corn, and sometimes like other bell peppers, things like that he planted. But tomatoes were like number one. It's kind of why I love eating them. I love buying the cherry tomatoes and just popping them in my mouth because they taste amazing. And this fragrance from the garden reminds me of that experience. And that's why I love tomato smells in fragrances. So that is from the garden. As I said, it's 100 ml for $77 tester from Maison Margiela. And I think if the testers run out, they do have bottles for like 80 something, $90 something. I think those are right now around $170 for suggested retail price. But the next fragrance I'm talking about is Serge Lutens L'Eau d'Armoi. I've recommended this a couple of times. This is selling for 100 ml, $38. That's a great price. It's a kind of a green, soft, spicy take on something absinthe-like, aromatic. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of, what's the name of that ingredient? Artemisia. A little bit of Artemisia and wormwood together. That's kind of what it reminds me of. It's a freshie, but it's super duper aromatic and green, but I wouldn't say it's as green as the tomato leaf fragrance from the garden. It's more of the greenness of herbs. So it's spicy, it's soft as in the kind of spice it is. It's not like a cumin or cardamom where it's really pungent. It's a softer spice. It's very aromatic. It's herbal. And yeah, it's very herbal, and then definitely reminds me of absinthe. Like if you've ever had absinthe or anything that's anisic, licoricey, would experience that. But it is a freshie, and it's also a great price. I think it's discontinued as well. So this is what is it called? L'Eau d'Armoire, 100 ml, $38. Really great price, and a beautiful bottle too. Probably it's Christopher Sheldrake, the nose behind that, because he does a lot, if not all, of the Serge Lutens fragrances. But that is, like I said, a really, really great price. Take advantage of it. I love the smell too. So that next one is Acqua di Parma's Colonia, 100 ml for $58. There is a tester for that price. Now this one is an eau de cologne, so if you're into beast mode, maybe stay away from this one. But if you like it fresh and citrusy, a slight bit barbershop-y, it's a unisex offering, but I think it does lean a bit masculine to me. And for me, it's kind of like Nerolia Vetiver, but taking on a bit more of a fougere-like touch. It's classic, it's classy, it's lemony, it's citrusy, it's herbal and aromatic, and very, very fresh. I mean, it's a classic. I mean, I'm sure you've at least smelled it at least once in your lifetime, but if you haven't, it's one of the historic fragrances that I recommend you get your nose on. And you can find discounts on them. The only thing you have to keep in mind that it's an eau de cologne, and eau de cologne are the lightest forms of fragrances, unless it's a mist, which I've never bought myself. But eau de colognes are probably the lightest that I buy, and this is not going to be super long lasting, but on a hot day, it's going to be super refreshing. So that's Acqua di Parma's Colonia, and you can get a bottle for about $58 for a tester. So next, I'm going to feature this one here. It's a unisex. This is the unisex section of the video. This is Thomas Cosmala's number 4 Après l'Amour. And currently you can get it for $72 as a tester, or around 80 some dollars for a full presentation. And this is an amber woods bomb. So it's very, very sexy, but it's also a bit minimalistic and not super complex. But complex, it's not, but it is very dense because it's very base heavy. The base notes are super heavy, and you can really experience how dense it is in the base. But very much amber woods, like ambroxan. So it's woody, it's spicy, it's musky and powdery, a little bit aquatic marine thrown in. It's basically emulating the ambergris. But very, very intense. I think amber and woods are super intense in this, but I'm not talking about amber like Grand Soir or Ambre Presso. This is more like molecular amber, emulating the idea of ambergris. But again, it comes off minimalistic, but just be warned, it's very base heavy, so it's dense. It's quite dense. So maybe a little goes a long way, but it's also very, very minimalistic. So that's Thomas Cosmala's Après l'Amour number 4, $72 for a tester. And as I said, 100 ml for $81. I'm going to recommend this next one as well here in this list. It's Nikos Parfums Sculpture Reverie. So it's a unisex offering. Maybe it might lean a slight bit feminine, but because I think it's rose and cherry. But there's definitely a lot of musk in this. Musk, and it's got a bit of a Middle Eastern twist to it. I almost feel like there's saffron in this, but for me it's very fruity cherried, but maybe overdosed with a rose as well, and the muskiness and slight animalic funk in there. So this might come off a bit too strong, but the way it smells is great. It really is. It's just basically very Middle Eastern because I'm getting that saffron touch, and that kind of throws in a bit of a leathery edge, but it's got like a, imagine, there's no oud in here, but it's kind of giving me that kind of a vibe. Just think of the oud rose combo with a little bit of a cherry twist. It's a good one. It's not as strong as the Voyage d'Orient from this line, which I think, because it reminds me of a milky tobacco vanille, I felt like that was a bit too strong for featuring it in this video. This one, on the other hand, is a little bit fresher because it does have the fruitiness. But that is 100 ml for 48 bucks. So really great deal on that one, under $50. And this one I actually just featured in a video recently. I bought this for around 50 bucks, highly discounted. It's gone up in price. It's $77. It's not a tester. I bought a tester. This is Trussardi's Walking in Porta Venezia. I bought a tester, as you can see. The one, if you pick up the one that I'm talking about, will not be a tester, so it won't have the notes breakdown on the back. This is very aromatic and spicy, green and a bit minty. And I think we're getting the mintiness from the geranium that's in here. It's quite geranium forward, but mixed with all the aromatics in this, comes off very minty. This one actually, on the other hand, like the previous fragrance, does lean a little bit on the feminine side. This one, for me, leans on the masculine side because of all the aromatics and spicy notes. So it does lean a bit masculine, but it's a unisex offering. But I really fell in love with this one because it's if you like mint and herbs and spices and green notes, you're going to like this one. It's very aromatic and spicy. So the notes break down: star anise, lemon, black pepper, artemisia, wormwood, geranium, Madagascar violet leaves, or geranium, Madagascar violet leaves, patchouli, fir balsam, cedar, bourbon vanilla. So those are the notes. So it does settle to a little bit of a warmth, but it's all aromatics. It's like a forest, like a pine forest with an overdose of aromatic herbs. Very green. So that is La Vie de Milano, Walking in Porta Venezia. Good price on that one, because I think this collection of fragrances are definitely over 100. This is Trussardi's kind of like upper end private blend like collection of fragrances, highly discounted. So check this one out and check some of their other ones out. But this next one is super duper cheap. This is Aqua Verde from Azzaro. 25 bucks for a 75 ml. Really inexpensive. And this one, again, the previous one was deeper. It's a lot more complex and also not super fresh. But Aqua Verde is very, very fresh. And Aqua Verde, to me, is a fresh green citrus aromatic fragrance. Lemony, a bit tart, a bit sweet, quite aromatic, and very fresh to wear when it's quite warm outside. And 75 ml for 25 bucks is pretty decent price. Now, Azzaro had really awesome fragrances that came in bottles like this back in the early 2000s. Lavender was one of them. They had a vetiver. I wore those so much. I really, really loved them, and I wish they would make them again. They don't. So this kind of reminds me of those a little bit, but it's not like those. This is a bit more citrusy aromatic, as I said, but very fun fragrance and easy to wear. It's like a dumb reach fragrance. Clean, fresh, and aromatic, spicy. So Aqua Verde from the house of Azzaro. That is 75 ml for 25. And then we're going to talk about Acacapa's Muschio Bianco. So white moss. I always thought that, no, I always get confused with this moss and musk. So it's white moss, Muschio. This is a fragrance I adore. I've loved so much and I've worn so much. It's clean, mossy, laundry-like, fresh, kind of comes off a little bit aldehydic as well, like fizzy. But if you like fragrances like Blanche from the house of Byredo, you can kind of wear this one. Not identical, but just clean and musky like that, and mossy as well. It's a nondescript kind of a fragrance. It's a grab and go, spritz on after a shower, you smell clean, and you have a fragrance on, but it's not going to overwhelm anybody. It's just going to be part of your, you know, personal musk, and you're going to have this light, clean smell, and it garners compliments, you know. It's not going to be like super projecting, but when people get close to you, they will smell how clean you are. But it's been one of my favorite fragrances for a good 10 years. I really love it, and I have it in my collection all the time. So that is Muschio Bianco from the house of Akakapa. It's funny also, I actually found a cap somewhere in the studio the other day, and I was trying to figure out where the heck did that cap come from? I couldn't figure it out. I searched online, couldn't figure out for the life of me. Now I know. It's Akakapa. Anyway, all right, let's move on to the house of 4711. This is Aqua Colonia Intense, Awakening Woods of Scandinavia. I recommend this one quite a bit. It was recommended to me by someone on Facebook, and I took a chance and bought it. It's aromatic, woody, spicy, and green. And it's a very pleasant, clean, fresh, woody green kind of an offering created by Geza Schoen. So there's aromatic notes in here, the smell of trees and pine and things like that. But very pleasant, great smell, perfect, light, not overwhelming, because it's an eau de cologne intense concentration, by the way. But one of my favorites from this line, and still selling. Some of them are not selling. This one's still selling and totally worth it. And for that, you're only paying $36 for 170 ml. So that's a lot of juice. This is the 170 ml bottle. But just keep in mind, it's an eau de cologne intense, so it's not like the most intense offerings. Keep them for the warmer days of spring and graduate into summer and liberally spray it on every day of summer. But a great scent. I love it. It's leaning masculine because of all the woods and aromatics and spices, but a woman can totally pull that one off. It's Awakening Woods of Scandinavia from the house of 4711. The next one is from the house of Reminiscence. It's Dolce Riviera. Dolce Riviera is a sweet... Well, what happened was the brand rebranded, and it used to be called Patchouli Blanc, as you can see in the bottom of Dolce Riviera. They changed the name. So white patchouli is basically what it was called before, and now it's called Dolce Riviera. And it's a clean, personal patchouli. So, but there are like sweeter elements, totally different than the sensual patchouli from Angel Schlesser. This one is more like their original patchouli that they're known for, Reminiscence is known for. But this does have a cleaner, wider, lighter, kind of a slightly sweet take on patchouli. And I think it's perfect for spring. But this is currently 100 ml for $66, so a great price for that. And I highly recommend that one. I love the line. I'm a big fan of the original Reminiscence patchouli. And there's a lot of their fragrances that I really, really enjoy. And that's kind of an easier take on their classic patchouli. And of course, the classic patchouli elixir. So that is 100 ml, $66. Great price for this fragrance because there's normally much more than that. But next we're going to the house of a fragrance I did not grab. But next we're going to the house of Nichane, and I am featuring this here. It's at the higher end of the under $100, but hopefully by the time this video airs, you can still get it for this price. It's 50 ml for $95 for Amber Calabria, and it's a perfect spring scent. It's green, it's fresh, it's citrusy, but also vanillic and ambery. One of the most unique smells I've ever put my nose on. I absolutely am head over heels for this fragrance. In fact, it might be my favorite from the house of Nichane. I hope they never discontinue it. But oh my God, I love it. The citruses you pick up, the green notes and the galbanum you pick up, they're nicely blended together. It's fresh, green, herbal, a little bitter, but there's also some sweetness developing. It's the vanilla and the resinous ambery touches in the base. And there's also some spices along the way, maybe some light florals. It's fantastic. So that's a bit deeper for spring, but again, I don't have rules. I don't know, maybe you don't either, but that is such a gorgeous fragrance. Ombre Calabria 100 ml for $95 is a really, really great price. Next, we're going to talk about Nishan. No, I'm sorry, we already talked about Nishan. Next, we're going to talk about Sarah Jessica Parker Stash SJP 100 ml for $29. Now, this is a unisex offering. Some people think it's Sarah Jessica Parker. It might be a feminine fragrance. It's not even feminine. To me, this is very masculine. It's a masculine, woody, kind of a creamy, woody fragrance. And in fact, it leans on the masculine side, and it's super cozy as well. It's called Masoya wood, but to me, it acts a bit like sandalwood. I think the creaminess acts very sandalwood-like. It's super cozy, but very, very masculine leaning, I think, because it's a lot of woods, not much flowers, if at all. There's spices along the way. There might even be that pistachio note, but I don't pick up too much of a pistachio presence. But in the end, it's a really awesome scent. One of the best celebrity fragrances ever created, and also masculine leaning celebrity fragrance from a female celebrity. But look at the bottle. It's kind of gotten messed up, unfortunately. For a while, this was gone, but I'm glad it's back. It's 100 ml for $29. So worth having in your collection, especially if you like, woody fragrances, woody, creamy, spicy kind of fragrances. So that's Sarah Jessica Parker's Stash SJP. Then I'm going to talk about Berdu's Selva do Brazil. This, I don't know what's happened to this brand. I actually met them a long time ago when I went to Aix-en-Provence, like almost 10 years ago. And this was an instant love for me. It's a Petitgrain focused fragrance. And Petitgrain is the bitter orange tree's leaves. Bitter orange tree leaves. So it's green and it's a bit citrusy, a little bitter, but it also has tonka beans. I love this. It smells like you're breaking into the leaves of the orange tree, and that little lemon that squeezes out from the little oil that squeezes out from there is the smell you're picking up. It's such a great green citrus, but there's a bit more depth about it rather than kind of fleeting citrus only. Great smell. And the design is kind of cool. So that is 100 ml for $53. Great price on that. And I'm featuring this one here too because I recently purchased it, but I'm gonna feature it. It's also at the higher end of the price. It's $90 for 100 ml for L'Orpheline from Serge, Uncle Serge Lutens. And what I like about this is musky and aromatic together. It's really, really great. It's a bit patchouli-esque as well. And to me, the combo is really awesome. It's super sexy. It's great lingering power, but also not super dense. And I mean, I had skipped this one for a long time. And I was at the Serge Lutens section of a department store in Paris like a year and a half ago. And there I smelled it and I was like, why have I skipped this one? It's so good. It's really great. I think this is very sexy. And again, it's great lingering power, but it's not super dense, which is something that might be perfect for some people. But you put it on, you can, it goes on with you all day long. And especially if you put it on your clothes, you'll smell it all day long. The other thing I forgot to mention about L'Orpheline is it's a bit soapy as well. I like that about it. Really awesome scent. Perfect for spring, I think. So that's L'Orpheline from the house of Serge Lutens. And then the last fragrance I'm going to talk about is Polo Earth from the house of Ralph Lauren. This is around 100 ml for $50. And it's a kind of a Mugler cologne-like. So it's clean, it's fresh, citrusy, and citrus floral. It's unisex, very soapy, a bit sweet. Kind of does remind me a little bit of Nerolia Vetiver, but it's not identical, it's slightly different. I think the Nerolia Vetiver, the neroli in that is a bit sweeter. This one is not as sweet as that. But it's a gorgeous smell. Very clean. I think it's kind of like an after shower clean fragrance with all the citruses and citrus floral notes. I like that. If you are a fan of Mugler cologne, definitely check that out. It's unisex. I know Mugler cologne was a bit difficult to get. They have relaunched it, but I don't know if they relaunched it in the States yet. I'm not 100% sure. But that's all I have for you in this section of the video. This is a section of the video for cheapies, for spring fragrances that are inexpensive or cheap. And it's 22 unisex offerings. And let me know your thoughts on these fragrances and add a comment below. What are you wearing this spring? Are you wearing more expensive fragrances? Are you wearing less expensive fragrances? Have you found anything really awesome lately? Do let me know. Add a comment below. All right, now we move on to the men's fragrances. I've got 22 fragrances here that are inexpensive, less expensive, budget or cheap, I should say, that are perfect for spring. As I was saying earlier, some are stronger than others. So keep that in mind. You might wear some of the stronger ones when it's cooler spring days or time and weather, and then wear the lighter ones when it's warmer. But 22 awesome scents that you can get on the cheap. Let's get started with the list. We're going to the house of Lalique first. It's Ange Indigo. It's tea and smoky incense and spices, very cozy and earthy at the same time. Basically a new beginning for the Ange series of fragrances. We've moved on from indigo. We've moved on from noir, and now we've gone to indigo. So it's a bit on the blue side, but it's not a blue scent for me. It's just in that indigo colored bottle. It's a smoky tea, very spicy and very earthy, woody. So it's a bit dark, so it might be maybe a little bit too strong, but I think it's perfect for spring. But if you have a challenging time, keep it for the cooler days. This is now 100 ml for $34. A great price for this. Remember, 2 years ago, it was like $200 almost for that. So it is finally at the discounters. You can get it for cheap. Is it going to be as popular as Ange Noir? I don't know. Maybe. I like this. It's different than Ange Noir. For me, this is a bit more complex compared to the original Ange Noir. There's a bit more happening. Ange Noir is very linear for me. There's some movements with this fragrance. It starts off fresher, and then it develops, and then eventually becomes, dark and smoky. But you do have that tea up front. So that's Ange Indigo, 100 ml for $34. Great, great scent. Now, going to the house of Mauboussin. This is Une Histoire d'Homme Irrésistible. Yes, this is a challenging name. It's from the jewelry house of Mauboussin. They make great fragrances. This one actually, I don't know. I really love this one. I really like a lot of Mauboussin fragrances. I think this is very green and fig leafy and very woody. So it's also very fresh. So it's not super warm. It's a perfect spring scent, I think. It's got the freshness. It's a bit deep with the woods. And it's also that greenness. Maybe it's a bit simplistic, but I think it smells great. You'll smell fresh, green, clean, spicy, woody, earthy. Great scent, I think. Really, really love this one. And it's totally worth it. It's $26 for a 90 ml. Super cheap. Really, really cheap. Mauboussin is a jewelry house from France. If you ever visit France, you can see their stores. And I travel a lot there, so I see them all the time. But their fragrances are never in the stores. I don't know. Maybe the division of the fragrances are different than the division of the jewelry. Because Reminiscence was also connected with fragrances. Reminiscence was a jewelry house with fragrances. They separated. Maybe the Mauboussin is like that as well. I don't 100% know. But we don't even care about the jewelry. I'm not a jewelry person. I'm a fragrance person. And I really love Maubussin's Une Histoire d'Homme Irrésistible. For 90 ml, $26. Really great price. Let's move on to Narciso Rodriguez. For him, Vetiver Musk, 100 ml, $50. Great, great price. Super, super price. And I think it's a great scent for spring. It acts like a spring scent. It's clean, it's musky, it's earthy, it's spicy, it's crisp and cool. fresh. This is Vetiver Musk. I'm waiting for the Santal Musk. Let's see when that will arrive. I've already ordered it. But the Vetiver, to me, it's super crisp and clean. 100 ml, $50. If you're a Vetiver lover and you also like a clean musk, definitely try this one. I think the brand Narciso Rodriguez is known for musky fragrances, especially all of the ladies' offerings that they always release. From my research, I should say from my keeping track, they release a new men's fragrance every 2 years, it seems like. But they're always constantly releasing a new female fragrance. I'm also interested in checking out the upper end Narciso Rodriguez collection that come in the gold bottles. If anybody has experience with those, let me know. But I have a feeling I'm going to buy them and do a haul with those because I sampled them in an airport somewhere along the way. And I kind of liked a few of them. But for me, this one, really great. Just clean, easygoing, crisp, fresh fragrance. So that is Narciso Rodriguez for him, Vetiver Musk. Going to an old school fragrance next. It's the House of Paul Sebastian PS Fine Cologne. This one's a super cheapie. Sorry about that. This one's a super cheapie for $20, 120 ml. Yes, it's old school, but this one's also musky and a little ambery and also kind of like herbal aromatic. Oh my, this is so good. I think there's a soapy edge about it. For sure, the fragrance has gotten weaker. I remember when I first started wearing this back in like the early 90s. It was a deeper fragrance. But I think what they've kept here is definitely very enjoyable for a classic fragrance from the late 70s. To me, this fragrance doesn't smell like what was popular in the 70s for the guys. There was a lot of green fragrances in the 70s. So this is kind of unusual. And to me, it doesn't smell as dated as some other fragrances. Maybe it was ahead of its time. I don't know. But Paul Sebastian PS Fine Cologne, 120 ml, $20. If you're a guy and you like classic men's fragrances and you don't have that one, please get it. I think it's totally, totally worth it. All right, next we go into the house of Hermès. It's Herbe Vive. Actually, it's H24 Herbe Vive. Once again, we got a cool, crisp, and fruity aromatic offering this time. Are they going to announce another flanker for this series this year? I'm anticipating another flanker. Because it was 2 years ago that they launched the Herbe Vive, and it was 2024. We are now 2026, and they haven't announced the new men's fragrance. I think it's going to be a flanker from this series. Because last year they had a flanker of Terre de Hermès, which was a dud. So hopefully, maybe they'll launch a Parfum edition of this. But this one, to me, is, like I said, fruity. It's got that Pear Granita, a lot of aromatics. And also, this is not as crisp as the Vetiver Musk from Narciso Rodriguez, because there's a softness about it, but there's an iciness about it as well. It's my favorite of the H24s, but I think the first one is also, well, the EDP is also solid, I should say. The original had the Narcissus note in it, but this Herbe Vive is 100 ml for $68. Good price for a designer, especially Hermès, one of the top luxury houses. But let's move on to the house of Ralph Lauren next. It's Polo Cologne Intense, and we've got a really large bottle here. I bought from Macy's when this first came out, but this is 125 ml for $44. There is a pulpy edge about this. It's grapefruit. It's nothing like the original Polo Green, by the way. It's a very modern take on it. Completely new fragrance. It's earthy, woody, and very aromatic, but also juicy, pulpy with the grapefruit note up top. It's very enjoyable, very fresh, easygoing. It's a Cologne Intense is the concentration, but I think it's an Eau de Toilette, I should say. But there's a zest about it too, from the grapefruit. But when you put your nose to this, you really actually get the pulpiness. You know how that pulp is in the grapefruit? It's literally like that when you're smelling it. It's not super duper bitter either with the grapefruit. There is a sweetness about it, but that's Polo Cologne Intense from the house of Ralph Lauren. That is 125 ml for $44. Now this one I just spoke about in a video. I'm going to feature it here. I just got it and I felt like it was really great. There's a tester of it online for 100 ml, $34, but keep in mind the tester does not come with a cap. The caps are like this. But I can't believe how good this is, and 34 bucks is great. It's a spicy leather. So this one's definitely deeper here. It's not super fresh, but ooh, I love the spices in this and the leather together. The leather together. So this series of fragrances are all leather, I take it. This Salvatore Ferragamo leather series. I wish I had the cap. That's a bummer. But again, this is $34 for a tester. But you know, that's really good. It's spices, warm, fresh spices, and leather. Deep, a little bit ambery, a little bit woody. Yeah, save that for the cooler days, I think. But really, really great offering. Actually, I kind of like these fragrances from Ferragamo. What do you guys think? This next one's also really great, and this is, I think, a little bit more appropriate for spring. This is bright leather, and this one's actually as a tester for $29, so cheaper than the spicy leather. This is actually, I think, violet leaves from what I remember. This is also, yeah, violet leaves. I can totally smell it. And violet leaves has that distinct kind of, almost like a cross between a cucumber and an apple kind of a smell, which I really love. There's a juiciness about it, but this is kind of more like a, what do you call it? The suede leather. It's not like a harsh animalic leather. It's like a softer, kind of smooth leather with that kind of the ozonic touches of the violet leaves, which to me, as I said, kind of smells a bit like a cross between cucumbers and apples. I love that. It smells great. It's fresher too than the spicy leather. So that's bright leather from Salvatore Ferragamo. That's a 29 bucks for 100 ml. Really, really great price for that tester. But if you get a tester, you're probably not going to get the cap. So keep that in mind. Next, it's Bentley For Men Azure, 24 bucks for 100 ml. Azure usually always refers to the sea to me. It's kind of bluish. Yeah, this is a bit marine aquatic. This is also a bit ozonic, I think. I'm picking up a little bit of the ozonic touches of violet leaves. So this one actually might be a cross between marine and ozonic together. So there's a little bit of a minty kind of herbal touch. It also reminds me now, for the first time, reminds me a little bit of Aiguet from the house of Nichanet. It's interesting how I hated Aiguet when I first started wearing it. I didn't care for it. I really love it now. Same thing with this. It was kind of challenging with the marine touches. I've grown to enjoy this one. It's also very inexpensive. It's 24 bucks for 100 ml. So worth having. Something kind of easy going, grab and go, fresh spring fragrance. So that is Bentley For Men Azure. And it's 100 ml for 24. Now this next one is a classic offering. And I'm featuring it here because it's so good. Plus it reminds me of a old school fougere-like take on Beach Hut Man from Amouage. This is Anucci Eau de Toilette, and it's 100 ml for $37. So you guys like Beach Hut Man, I think, right? I adore Beach Hut Man. I think it's one of the best from Amouage. And as I said, this reminds me a little bit of Beach Hut Man. It's not identical, guys, but it reminds me a little bit of it. It's because it's got that greenness. It's almost like the greenness of the ivy that's in Beach Hut Man. And since there's also aromatics here, and mint is an aromatic, So it gives me that kind of a vibe. But just keep in mind, when you go for this one, it is old school. So it'll remind you of 80s men's fragrances. But to me, there's the greenness of the ivy and the aromatic touches of something like the mint that's giving me a vibe of Beach Hut Man in the old school style. I love this. Really, really love it. Beach Hut Man is expensive. This is only 37 bucks. This is also an eau de toilette. Beach Hut Man is an eau de parfum, and Aimez-Moi is known for super strong fragrances. But this is very light. It's fresh. It's a bit more summery. And again, it's an old school kind of a vibe of Beach Hut Man. It's Anucci Eau de Toilette. Fun looking bottle, kind of a golf theme, I think. All right, so that is $37 for 100 ml. As I said, this next one's from Penguin Premium Blend. You guys familiar with this one? It's 100 ml for 25 bucks. This is very, very clean. It's crisp, clean, fresh, easy after shower, clean fragrance. Kind of aromatic, a little bit spicy, very woody. There's a slight creaminess of the woodsy experience in this, but very pleasant, super easy fragrance, I think. This is actually $25 for 100 ml. It's also like, it's not super complex. So anybody that wants to smell great, that doesn't want to be overwhelmed with smells, might go for something like this. So it might come off a bit simplistic, but it's quite pleasant, I think. Great smell. Super easy. You don't have to think about the fragrance. You just wear it day in and day out. After a shower, you replenish. At work, maybe you have a bottle because it's so cheap. You know, and it's the kind of situation it is. So Penguin Premium Blend. That is 100 ml for 25. And then we've got Azzaro's Chrome Parfum Concentration. This was also featured in a recent video. It's also quite pleasant, I think, and not as metallic and chrome-like as the original when I first wore it in the mid-90s. But there's a softness about this, but you can notice the concentration is super strong. But there's a spice to it. It's clean. Woods. Aromatics. And I think there's some light ambery touches. I think it's kind of distant from the original Chrome. I'm not picking up any of the DNA, so I think it's changed. Chrome came out, I think, around 94, 95, maybe 96. I think they did a decent job on this. I wouldn't say this is like the best thing I've ever smelled, but it's a pleasant take on an old formula for a brand like Azzaro. This is under L'Oreal now, but I was going to say something like Eternity came out in 1989 or 90 for the guys, and Eternity Parfum was a dud, but I think they did a pretty solid job with this one. That's my only example. Also, I should say Boss Bottled, Hugo Boss Bottled was like 97 or 98 originally, and the Parfum edition was a dud as well. But they gave us an elixir and an Absol that were awesome, but the Parfum was so disappointing. But that's pretty decent. So that was Azzaro Chrome Parfum for $49 for 100 ml. And then we've got Moschino's Toy Boy. I'm featuring the original Toy Boy. They do have now Toy Boy 2. I'm not featuring it here. I don't think it's at the discounters yet. It's also, it's not like my all-time favorite. It's a much darker fragrance, so maybe best for saved for something like autumn and winter. This is brighter. It's fruitier. You can also wear it in the summertime in warm weather. It's a bit juicy, like pear-like, and also a bit floral, but also it has, molecular notes, ambery notes in the dry down. I find it to be really fun and playful to wear. And it's also a fun bottle. What do you guys think? This is currently 100 ml for $42, so fairly inexpensive and totally worth it. And I think the fruitiness and the floral touches, the muskiness, the ambery touches, work really wonderfully together. It takes on a fresher characteristic, but it does have some depth. So that is Moschino Toy Boy from the house of Moschino. Up next, going to the house of Mont Blanc. This is Explorer Platinum. So different than the original Explorer. Whereas the original Explorer went into that direction of reminding me of fragrances like Aventus. This one is more aromatic, woody, spicy, and ambery, I think. This one also has violet leaves in it, but it's powdery. It doesn't act like the fruitiness of the violet leaves that were in, what fragrance was it? In this one, Bright Leather. But there's a slight smokiness. It's kind of ambery. It's a bit sexy too, in a mass market men's fragrance kind of way. EDP concentration. Are you a fan? Let me know, add a comment below. So that is Mont Blanc's Explorer Platinum. Sadly, I got the fragrances reversed in my order here. So the next one is Brioni's Eau de Parfum Intense. So I thought there was less expensive bottles of this out there, but the cheapest I found was $82. But I think the suggested retail price is around $160. This is a really solid offering. This does feature, well, the original Eau de Parfum featured violet leaves. I think they've replaced it with fruitiness of apples here, but there's saffron, there's oud. So this is a bit stronger for spring, but you know, there's cooler days. But I like the apples. It's quite juicy. That's what I like about it. There's that drippy, juicy feel about the apples against the kind of saffron's leather and the oud's kind of light smokiness. I think it's a solid offering from the world of men's fragrances. I like the collection quite a bit. I think it's a top 10 for sure men's designer fragrance collection. So that's Brioni Eau de Parfum Intense. That is not that cheap. It's still under $100. 100 ml for $82, but some of these other ones I'm talking about are cheaper than that. Like this next one's from the house of Coach. It's Coach Green. Coach Green is a fruity green aromatic fougere. And with the green, we're going into kiwi, I think is the note that we have in here. Kiwi doesn't come up quite frequently, but you definitely pick up the fruitiness, and you have aromatics in here. So there's definitely a barbershoppy fougere vibe. Yeah, I think it's pleasant for a guy. Very modern. Behind the fragrance, there's a little bit of Drakkar Noir-like presence. So giving it a little bit of an old school vibe. But it's nicely covered up with the fruits. I really like that. I think this is created by Marie Salamagna over at Firmenich. Do guys like this one? Some guys don't like old school fragrances, and do you pick up the old school vibes with this one? Or is it super modern? Let me know, add a comment below. I know Coach is doing quite a bit of launches lately. That's connected to, it's actually part of Inter Parfums. So their parent company who owns them is Inter Parfums. So they're doing some offerings. I mean, they're constantly cranking out new fragrances, what I'm trying to say. But next, we're going to the house of Caron. This is Aimez-Moi Comme Je Suis. You can get a 125 ml tester for $50, or full presentation is $61. And this is super classy, elegant, woody, earthy, nutty vetiver fragrance. You can really, really pick up the nuttiness against the vetiver. Hazelnuts to the max. So it's not super duper gourmand, but maybe gourmand adjacent. This was actually also featured in a video from last week. I did a video called a vetiver deep dive video. And this fit into the gourmand adjacent category because it does have a gourmand note of hazelnut. And I was noticing when I put that video together, there's a lot of nutty notes with vetiver fragrances. If you haven't caught that video, please go catch it. But this is super solid. I mean, the brand's known for Pour un homme de Caron, but I think this is really good. Really classy, elegant, masculine vetiver fragrance with that slight nuttiness of the hazelnuts. Yum. So that is Aimez-Moi comme je suis from the House of Caron. Are you a fan? It's finally discounted. It was not, for a long time, it wasn't discounted, but there are great discounted prices for those now. I think you should take advantage of it if you love vetiver in fragrances. But we're going to a very fresh fragrance next. It's Versace's Eros Energy. I don't really care for the Eros collection of fragrances, but I quite like this one. What I like about it is a very juicy citrus. Super juicy citrus. Masculine leaning, but I think a woman can totally pull this off. And the lemoniness, it's almost like a lemon lozenge. Maybe a little bit of a lemon drop, but more like a lemon lozenge. It's sweet. Kind of hard candy-like. Tart, but more sweet tart. Very fresh. This is 100 ml for $70 as a tester, or 100 ml for $81 full presentation. So it's on the higher end, but it's a great citrus. Really love it. And again, it's my favorite of the Eros fragrances. I even have the Eros Najim, which I brought back from Dubai a year and a half ago because it was exclusive for the Dubai airport. Then they launched it. I don't care for the Najim. I don't care for the red one. And the original I wore once, like when it first launched, and moved on from it. But for a men's designer citrus fragrance, this smells really, really fresh. I think it's perfect for hot days. And if you only wear men's designer fragrances and you want something fresh, this definitely works. Because you can easily find these at the department stores, whereas some of the other fragrances probably not. But you can easily walk in and get it. But I do have all the fragrances tagged, as I said, and this one is recommended by me. So this is Eros Energy from the House of Versace. Let me know if you're a fan. Up next, I'm going to the House of Rochas. This is Rochas Man Intense. And even though it's called Rochas Man Intense, I don't think it's that super duper intense, by the way. So you can get away with wearing this. It's aromatic with lavender. It's also got that cappuccino coffee note. So it's a bit milky. So it's gourmandesque. It's sweet, spicy, aromatic, woody, milky, coffee. To me, it has barbershop-y vibes as well. That lavender gives me that. This came out, I think it was kind of inspired by Le Male, which launched in 95. I think this came out in 97 or 98, the original. This is the intense version from a few years ago. As I said, I don't think it's super duper intense. I think basically if the original was reformulated and got super thin, this is what it used to be like when the original had launched back in the late 90s. Does that make sense? This is really good. I love the smell. I love the combination of that barbershop-y lavender and the kind of warm spiciness. I would call this an amber fougere, actually. There are light traces of reminders of something like Le Male if you were adding coffee to Le Male. Fun. So that is Rochas Man Intense, 100 ml for $46. Don't go with the original because it's gotten lighter. Go with the Intense because it is definitely a lot more, well, not super duper more intense, but definitely has a bit more substance compared to the original. Next, going to the House of Mercedes-Benz. It's Air. Clean, ethereal, airy, soft, spicy men's fragrance that I would leave for the hottest days of spring. It's spicy, it's clean, it's a little bit green, a little powdery, but also kind of airy and ethereal, like I said. Now, this might come off a bit simplistic, just giving you a heads up. So if you're into more depth, maybe skip this one. If you like it a little lighter and you want to stay away from citruses, you want something spicier. Again, this is a soft spice. I think it has anise or licorice in the notes. So it's got that soft spiciness. It's not harsh like pungent like, you know, cardamom or ginger. So there's a softness about it, but there's a spicy edge, which also creates a slight bit greenness. It smells great. I wish it was a little bit more potent, but I think warm days, this would be great. It's a great signature scent style fragrance if you want something fresh, airy, but not citrusy. So that's Mercedes-Benz Air. So that is currently $44 online for 100 ml. Great price on that. And the next fragrance, going to the House of Bulgari. This is Bulgari Man Glacial Essence. Clean, crisp, ice cold, fresh aromatic men's fragrance. Nothing like the original Bulgari Man. It's a totally new flanker, but I like it. It's kind of watery. It's kind of icy. It's a bit ozonic. It's fresh, not marine, but clean. Very, very clean and aromatic. There's some light woods in there in the dry down, light. Maybe some aromatics along the way as well. But it does have that ice cold effect. It's very ice cold. I think it might be sort of similar to Air, but I think this Bulgari Man Glacial Essence has a bit more depth. This is also a little bit more pricey, 100 ml, $80, but it's quality. Simplistic, easy to wear men's fragrance on the fresh side. All right, so that's Bulgari Man Glacial Essence. Let me know if you're familiar with that. They have continued on with the flankers of this series. Like, there's a ton of flankers of Bulgari Man. And then there's also the Bulgari Man in Black. But there's a lot of flankers that are in that collection. And then I'm going to end the video here with this recent discovery that I quite like. It might be kind of too light, but keep them from the warm days. This is Davidoff's Adventure, and it's only 100 ml for $20. But what I like about this one, it's fresh with some warmth and very soft and cozy. It's so lovely to wear. It is on the light side. It's an eau de toilette, but I kind of like something that's contrasting with some freshness. And then there's some subtle warmth under there, so it adds a little depth and then also creates a contrast. And to me, those are some of my favorite kind of fragrances, when there are contrasting notes that work or styles that work. And this one does. It's for me, it's a late discovery. I bought it blind in a haul video last year, and I really like it. I think it's perfect as a spring fragrance. Keep it for the warmer days, because even though it has that warmth, I think it's still quite fresh, but I think it's very, very pleasant. I think it came out in the early 2000s. Again, I totally skipped it, but I'm glad I discovered it and am recommending it to you guys. And it's also only $20. So $20, I mean, you can get two. Keep one at home, keep one at the office or in the car, and you just replenish, because you're going to need to replenish that, because it is not like super intense, but it does smell very pleasant and really wonderful to wear in the spring. And that's all I have for you guys. These are the men's fragrances that are on the budget for spring. All should be under $100. Remember, I said I can't guarantee all of these fragrances will be selling once the video goes up, but hopefully they are, and you can buy them and take advantage of the discounted prices, because there's some really great prices here. Let me know what you think of this collection of men's fragrances that are perfect for spring under $100. What would you add to the collection? What would you recommend me check out that I haven't, spoken about on the channel? Do let me know, add a comment below. And now let's move on to the women's fragrances. All right, and now we've got 12 ladies fragrances that are on the cheap. A lot of really inexpensive offerings here that I'm going to talk to you about. Some really expensive fragrances that are really low priced. And of course, some of the usual suspect type budget offerings. So we're going to start off with the first fragrance from the house of Chopard. It's Happy Lemon Dulce. So I actually wear this myself. It's kind of just like a fresh citrus offering. It's not super feminine targeted. So if you're a guy and you're looking for a lemony fragrance, do that. I mean, wear this. It won't be super feminine. It's just targeted to the ladies. It's a sweet tart take on a fresh lemon fragrance, kind of like a limoncello, maybe a lemon lozenge or a lemon drop. Basically, that's what it is. It's super fresh. Again, it's a little sweet, a little tart, but more sweet than tart, I think. There might be some light woods and aromatics in there, but I think it's perfect for warm days if you want a burst of sunshine with the lemony touches of Happy Lemon Dulce from the house of Chopard. So it's called Happy Chopard up top right there, as you can see, Happy Chopard and Lemon Dulce. There are a few other fragrances in that collection. I don't know them. I bought that for really cheap. It's only $26 for 100 ml. So a great price. I think it's 100 ml. I could be wrong with the size though. Oh, this is 100 ml, yes. So this is 100 ml for the price of $26. A tester is what I found online. So just be warned. It normally comes in a box like this, but it's a tester, so you won't get the box. But let's move on to this one that I discovered in one of those videos I did highlighting some really highly discounted fragrances. I'm going to the house of Orloff. This is Orloff Paris Walk on the Wild Side. I've paid $35 for this. It's a 75 ml. And I think you should take advantage of this and get it right away. It's really good. It's the best one I've bought in these clear Orloff Paris bottles. I don't know how long it'll last. Some of them are not around anymore. 75 ml 35 for this is great because it's super sexy. Love it. It's a bit leathery and dark and smoky, but also has somewhat molecular touches in there, but it's fresh all around it. So you've got this extreme freshness, but there's a deepness, slight leather, smoke, kind of ambroxany muskiness, or some kind of a molecular muskiness there. Really great. I think it's very, very sexy. It's also not necessarily super duper feminine for a ladies targeted release. I highly, highly recommend this one. It will run out. $35 is really, really great price. And it's also super duper niche. It's not, it doesn't smell designer-ish like the previous fragrance or some of the other designer fragrances I'm going to talk about. So definitely check this one out. It's Walk on the Wild Side from Orloff Paris. 75 ml for $35, totally worth it. I don't know how much they're going to have. Some of these fragrances are disappearing because they're running out. There might be another source that's a little higher. So that price is also, I think, should be good. It's probably around $59 for 75 ml, but obviously $35 is better than $59. So get your bottle before it runs out, as I said. Let's move on to the next fragrance. This is Juliet Has the Guns, Not a Perfume. There is a $60 tester online for 100 ml. Great price. Yes, it's minimalistic. It's not necessarily like super beast mode, but I think this is the kind of fragrance you would wear if you don't want the complications of scent on you. But honestly, there is a scent there. It's so minimalistic, but it's also very, very sexy. Super, super sexy. But somebody has to get really, really close to you to smell you because it's very, very faint. But what's underneath it, it's featuring the note of Cetylox, which is kind of like ambroxan. And an ambroxan, Cetylox has the characteristics of woods, amber, salty spiciness, and maybe some light marine touches as well. And if I didn't mention it, it's very, very powdery. So awesome, very, very sexy fragrance and smells great. You just have to get really close to somebody to smell them. And when you do, it's really lovely. I love the smell, but it's very faint, as I said. So that's Juliet Has a Guns, Not a Perfume. I think it's a great option for spring if you're going with a minimalistic experience in a fragrance. The next one I'm talking about is really, really inexpensive. This is Moschino's Fresh Couture Gold. It's only 27 bucks for this, guys. Really, really inexpensive. This is kind of ambery take on floral, so this might be a bit... No, I don't think so. I think it does go into an ambery direction, but it's still quite fresh. There's also a little bit of a fruitiness here. So it's a fresh, fruity, floral kind of take on the original. But it's a fun, funky kind of a bottle. It's like a Windex bottle, but it's Moschino, so they do the weirdest things with their bottles. But I think it's a fun, playful, fruity floral with some deeper elements in there, maybe some light spices, woods, and maybe amber. So it does warm up, but to me, it's quite fresh up top. This collection, I think, is on its way out. I think they're focusing on the toy and the Toy Boy collection. They just launched Toy Boy 2. I think they just also announced 2 flankers in the toy series. So I think they're sticking with the toy, but I think they did only 3 in the fresh couture series. I didn't care for the original as much, but I like this one more, and I think there's a pink bottle version as well that I kind of like. And I think this is fun, as you can see. $27 for this. It's really, really inexpensive. Then we've got this fragrance from the house of Derek Lam. This is 10 Crosby Looking Glass. This is a 175 ml bottle, guys. That's a lot of juice for 35 bucks. It's very fresh, and I think it's focusing on magnolia. So this is... Yep, it's magnolia, so it's a bit creamy. It's also a bit green, a little spicy, but it's just very, very fresh. And if you've ever smelled a magnolia, it does kind of remind you of it a little bit here, but it also has a few other things happening in there as well. And once again, some of these are, all of these in this section are targeted to the ladies. Some of them are not super duper feminine. This one smells like a fresh floral fragrance with some depth beyond the freshness. A little spicy, a little creamy, very floral, but it doesn't have the over-the-top floralness of something like tuberose or maybe jasmine or gardenia, because the magnolia is a bit more faint. It's also a little citrusy and lemony, and you kind of have that here. There's a little bit of greenness in there as well. So that's called Looking Glass by Derek Lam, 10 Crosby Looking Glass. It's only 35 bucks for the 175 ml. It's very cheap, but I don't know the deal with that collection. I remember when it was announced at Nordstrom's, but it's been at the discounters and, at discounted places for a long time now. Next, we're going to the house of Lalique. This is Perle de Lalique, 100 ml, 26 bucks, really, really cheap. This is a kind of dark gothic rose and patchouli, a spicy rose and patchouli. I think this is Nathalie Lorson as well. But if you like fragrances like Portrait of a Lady, and this isn't identical to Portrait of a Lady. Portrait of a Lady is a lot more complex. This is a bit thinner, but you have that idea there, that kind of chypre-like style of patchouli in the base, rose up top, very spicy and earthy, and maybe a slight bit mossy as well. It's very, very sexy. I find patchouli to be sexy, and the rose in here is darker. It's not a very bright, juicy, jammy rose. It's very, very spicy. But if you like the idea of Portrait of a Lady, you can't afford it. I think this could be an alternative. It's not identical. It's not as spicy. It doesn't have that fruitiness. It's the same style and sort of similar notes. Well, there are similar notes, but not everything that's in Portrait of a Lady. It's missing the fruits here. It's missing the incense. Anyway, that's Perle de Lalique from the House of Lalique. And it's only 100 ml for 26. And I'm talking about Moschino's Toy 2 here. This is only 100 ml for 41. That's also quite cheap. This is tea. It's very tea, spicy. It's very fresh. And also, I think it's perfect for warm days in the spring and also in the summertime. It's very, very cozy, a little spicy. There's some fruitiness there, but it's almost like a nondescript fruit, but it has like a fruity freshness. It's kind of like trying to identify itself as a fruit, but you really cannot figure it out. Maybe it's a bit like pear. Maybe it's a flower that's acting a bit fruity, because it does have some floral touches as well. But it's very fresh. And it's 100 ml for $41. I want to check out the new flankers that they just announced for this collection. And I also haven't tried the two versions that came after this. So we'll have to give those a try. But are you a fan of Toy 2? Let me know. Add a comment below. Next, we're going to the House of Donna Karan, DKNY 24/7. Recently, I picked this up highly discounted as a tester. You can find it online for $36. I think I paid like $32 for this. It's a cool looking bottle, but very reflective. It's like an hourglass. It's all glass. And to me, it's a kind of a fresh take on something like Delina. Not identical, so don't go thinking this is going to smell like Delina. I think it's more of the idea. It's very floral, super fresh, rosy floral. It might not actually be rose. It might be kind of like peony or something, but it's very fresh. Does have a bit of a Delina vibe. It doesn't have that milkiness. I think it's a bit more fresh, and just a really fun kind of fruity floral fragrance for the ladies. 24/7 by Donna Karan, DKNY. Who's a fan? So the DKNY was part of Estee Lauder. I think in 2021, Estee Lauder dropped them. And I think DKNY or Donna Karan is now with Interparfums, the same company as... Did I have an Interparfums here? I do. Well, I do. The same company as this next fragrance. This is Rochas Eau de Rocha Orange Horizon. This is also 100 ml for $50, but the Donna Karan DKNY is 24/7, is 100 ml for $36. That's really cheap, really, really inexpensive, and a cool looking bottle, as you can see. Well, it's all out off the screen. So that's Interparfums, and also Rocha is under Interparfums as well. It's that conglomerate that distributes brands. And Interparfums also has Van Cleef & Arpels. And I'm forgetting. I should probably do a video on Interparfums brands. But for now, we know DKNY and also the Rocha. So Rocha Eau de Rocha Orange Horizon is 100 ml for $50. It's a clean, citrusy fragrance with a very orange twist. It's a little spicy. It's a sweet, more sweet than tart, I should say. But it's a little spicy, a little woody. And I think that's pretty much it. It's very, very fresh. If you don't like the tartness of lemons, because the previous edition in this was a lemon-focused fragrance, and you want like a little bit of a a little sweetness, I should say, go with this one because this is sweeter. This is also not very feminine. It's targeted to the ladies. It's a citrus, basically. It doesn't have anything real feminine going in it. I feel like this collection is sort of like the collection that Louis Vuitton did with Afternoon Swim and Sun Song and those kind of fragrances, and kind of similar colorful bottles and different bottle designs, obviously. But this is really great. It's just a sweet, cozy citrus fragrance. It's going to be on the light side. It's not going to be very intense. I think it's an Eau de Toilette. Yeah, it's an Eau de Toilette. But I love these bottles. They're cute. They're really cute. So that is Orange Horizon, Eau de Rocha Orange Horizon from the House of Rocha. That is 100 ml for 50. And I'm putting this one in the mix as well. It's Zadig & Voltaire's. This is Her, the original. It's a milky sandalwood, very cozy. Might be a bit overwhelming for warm days, but again, you be the judge. If you can tolerate it, wear it. I think it's not super strong or intense that it could work, but it's like a musky, clean sandalwood milkiness, slightly sweet, very cozy, milky, lactonic, and an easygoing fragrance. And if you want that coziness, the smoothness, this is definitely something you would pull for. So this is $77 for 100 ml. It's on the higher end, but I think it's really smooth. If you like milky fragrances that are woody overdosed, I think this is definitely something you should try. So that's Zadig & Voltaire's. This is Her, the original. I've got 2 more fragrances left. We're going to the house of Emanuele Ungaro. This is Cosmic. You guys tried this? Cosmic was one of the latest fragrances from this house, and it's $20 for a 90 ml. Really cheap. It's powdery and fruity vanillic. It's created by Jérôme Epinay, who does... This is also, I think, Interparfums, come to think of it. Jérôme Epinay does fragrances for Byredo, Wilhelm. But it's fruity, it's powdery, it's nutty, it's vanillic. It's feminine. But it's also very, very cheap. 90 ml, $20. Won't break the bank. It's got this coziness. Wear it on the cooler days of spring if you're, sensitive to, excuse me, powdery offerings. I think it's got heliotrope and almonds, because there's definitely an almondiness. Yeah, it's very, very cozy, I think. Nothing groundbreaking, but simple, clean. Well, I wouldn't say super duper clean, but very, very cozy, I think. Gourmandesque, but not quite a gourmand. So that is Cosmic from the house of Emanuele Ungaro, and that's $20. And I'm going to end the video with Youp Le Bain. 75 ml for $35. Pretty inexpensive. Been a fan of it for a while. It does remind me a little bit of What We Do in Paris is Secret from the house of What We Do is Secret. I always forget because they changed their name. If you're a fan of What We Do in Paris is Secret, check this one out. I don't think it's identical, but it has similarities. It's a cult classic, I think. It's got a following. It's a good quality offering, good quality scent at really cheap prices. So if you think that What We Do in Paris is Secret is too expensive, you can go with something like Le Bain by Youp. $35 for a 90 ml. And that's the last fragrance I'm talking about today, and here in the ladies section of spring budget offerings. Let me know your thoughts on these fragrances. Do add a comment below. And thanks so much for watching this video, guys. I really do appreciate you tuning in. I know I've been slacking off a little bit, but it's been quite intense with getting ScentFest SF off the ground and confirming the exhibitors and all that kind of stuff. So it's been a bit overwhelming. So that's why I have been posting less. But once the project is off the ground and things are going, it'll smooth out. But I am also going to be gone very soon. I leave to Europe early April and back around the 22nd of April. So I'll be gone for about 2.5 weeks. But I'll be working there, and I'll hopefully be able to, air videos while I'm gone as well. But I'll mostly be visiting with some brands and attending Paris Perfume Week. So if you are attending Paris Perfume Week and you want to meet, let me know. I'll be there. It's a 3-day show, like our show, ScentFest SF. And we'll do our show on June 26, 27, and 28. And so anyway, that's all I have for you guys. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Go definitely check out ScentFest SF. I have it linked in the info box. Register. I think there might be a few more VIP passes left. We're not doing a lot of VIP passes. There is a 10 to 12 time slot for trade, media, and also VIP. And then general hours for the show will be from 10 to 7. So, I'm sorry, 12 to 7, because 10 to 12 are the VIP trade and media hours. So go register and please come and attend ScentFest SF. And remember, as I said, WPC is happening just before in Monterey, and that's the World Perfumery Congress. And on the 24th starts the global beauty, business of beauty global panels or something. I'm drawing a blank with the name right now. Too many things to keep in mind. But there's another event happening in Napa centered around beauty and fragrances. So I felt like it was a great time to launch ScentFest SF around the same time. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please subscribe. Click the bell icon. Give a thumbs up for this video. That helps with the algorithm. And as I said, everything is tagged, timestamped. If you want to buy any of these fragrances, you're in the market for them. They're available, and the links to them do pop up on screen so you can take advantage of those products at that time. See you guys later. Bye-bye.